Hello, welcome to the Countryside Kitchen Meets, a food and farming podcast. I'm Milly Fyfe, your host, a mum of two, farmer's wife, food producer and passionate about flying the flag for British food and farming. Today we'll be chatting to Cambridgeshire-based cut flower farmer Josie Brown. Then I've got a few time-saving hacks when it comes to mealtime preparation, meaning you can juggle family life with the children and cook a tasty, nutritious meal too. Okay, so let's introduce you to my guest. Josie Brown is a full-time mummy to 4 children, farmer's wife to Michael Brown and British cut flower grower. Josie and her family live on the Brown's family arable farm near Kimbolton in Cambridgeshire, where Josie has recently started a new enterprise growing British cut flowers. The family, Connie, age 8, Robert, age 7, and twins Edward and Richard, 4, all get involved in farm life, with special highlights being sledging down the wheat in the grain store, great fun, and delivering hot meals to the field during the busy summer months. Prior to the arrival of the twins, Josie was a rural charter surveyor and enjoyed advising farmers and landowners on various aspects of property ownership. Now, Josie has great ambition to become a recognised provider of British cut flowers while educating the public on the availability and seasonality of British flowers. Wow, a busy mum running a farming business, a cut flower business and 4 children. Josie, you sound like a super mum to me. Hello.
Hello, Milly. I don't know if I am a super mum, just a lot of juggling.
Spinning those plates.
Definitely lots of plates. Always getting it right.
Well, that's it. And how are you?
Yeah, really well, thank you. Really well. Yeah.
Good. Now, tell me a little bit about your background. How have you been brought up in farming or not, as the case may be?
Yeah, no, I have been brought up in farming. I am a farm manager's daughter from Hertfordshire. So I've lived on a farm. I understand the farming cycle. But what I'd say is I probably didn't take any interest in my father's work when I actually lived on the farm at home. I remember when, so my father, the family he worked for, the farm was sold, and I remember the agent coming round, lotting everything up ready for the farm sale. And I said to my dad, actually, I think that's what I'd like to do when I grow up. And ironically, I don't know, 20 years later, I ended up working for that same surveyor who came round my father's business and trained under him. And then 3 young farmers, obviously you have to be in young farmers if you have anything to do with the farming. Even if you're not a farmer, you need to be in young farmers because it's so good. So yeah, I had lots of farming connections, and then I met my husband Michael, 3 young farmers. We live on a 1,500 acre farm in Cambridgeshire. We're very specialist farmers in what we grow. We're seed farmers rather than just feed farmers. So it's very specialist, and I've just found a real love for the growing of the crops on the farm. My husband's an agronomist as well, so or he was before he came back to the farm. So I find field walking with him fascinating, and I've learned a lot more about farming since marrying him than I did as a child. But yeah, absolutely love farm life.
Excellent. And how did the flower business come about?
So Michael and I always wanted a product that we could sell from the farm. We're very inspired by our neighbouring farmer, who is Duncan Farrington of Farrington's Mellow Yellow. And I've always been fascinated by their product and their marketing. I'm really interested in that side of it. Farm diversification has always been a real interest of mine. So we wanted something we could sell from the farm. Although the farm is diversified with the seed production, we just wanted a product. So I started at flowers. Probably about 10 years ago, I said, I think we should grow cut flowers. And then we went away from it because I was a surveyor and it just felt like there was too much to do and I didn't have enough knowledge. And then we went through various other things we could sell. Should we do beef? Should we do pigs and pork? Should we do eggs? And I just, my heart wasn't 100% in it because I don't know enough about livestock, whereas I love gardening. So after watching a Chelsea flower show and seeing this beautiful British flower stand, I was like, that's where I want to be. When I'm 50, I want to be at Chelsea flower show with my flowers. So that's how we decided to go into the flowers.
Amazing. Oh, that's such a wonderful vision, looking to grow flowers for Chelsea. Oh, amazing. I'll be there being your biggest cheerleader. Because like you, I've started, well, I've been kitchen gardening for a long time, but actually now I've started to turn my hand to growing a few flowers just in my garden because it's looking a bit bare. It's all very well growing potatoes and carrots and what have you, but actually to have a few nice flowers is quite makes everything a lot better in the world, doesn't it?
It does, and it's really rewarding. Like you can go to a garden centre and you can buy a plant, but I think if you get that pack of seeds and you sow it and you nurture those flower plants from that tiny seed through to these beautiful blooms, and you go, gosh, I've done that. It is so rewarding, and it's not that hard. No. Really, and if it doesn't grow, it doesn't matter. Everyone makes mistakes, or it might not be your fault. You know, the weather can have a big impact on it. The compost you use can have an impact on it. So it doesn't matter if they don't grow, but it's definitely worth a try because it's so rewarding.
Yeah, the one seed I can't get to germinate, and I've tried for the last few years, is delphiniums. I find them really difficult. I don't know whether or not they're a tricky flower or what.
So they don't germinate? Is that the problem?
Yeah.
Yeah. So try putting them in the freezer. Try putting the pack of seeds in the freezer before you sow them. Or if you're just too excited to sow them, put them on the compost and then put the compost tray in the fridge or the freezer for a couple of weeks. Give them a false winter. Because if you think of it in nature, the flower would grow, drop its seeds at the end of summer, and those seeds would sit in the ground and go through a whole winter process of being really cold. So you've got to force that really by putting them in the freezer.
Okay. Oh, brilliant. Top tip there. And what is your favourite flower? What do you like growing most? Or
oh my goodness. Oh, I don't know. So obviously I love my dahlias. I think we're growing about 130 dahlias this year. And yeah, I've got lots of videos about me growing dahlias. But I think I love tulips because they start the season for me. So that gets me really excited. It's a long winter without any real British cut flowers. And you're still working at it. You're still looking after the seedlings. You're still sort of sorting the soil out and getting everything ready. No reward over winter. But then when you get to April and you get the tulips, you're just, oh yes, I know why I do this. And it's tulips I really love. Ranunculus I think are beautiful. There's just so much detail in them. Sweet peas for their scent. It's funny, you take a jar of sweet peas to someone and they will always say, oh, I remember when so and so used to grow these in their garden. And so they're a real nostalgic flower for a lot of people. And then going through sunflowers, love sunflowers. So I grow sunflowers as cut flowers. My husband grows them on field scale for seed. So there's a lot of rivalry between the two of us as to who's got the best sunflowers, who's got the best germination. So yeah, definitely sunflowers later in the year.
Definitely. And sunflowers are quite easy to grow, aren't they? And so to get the kids involved with as well, growing the tallest one or the biggest head, or and obviously it attracts the birds and the bees as well, doesn't it? And then obviously beautiful to look at as well. So yeah, absolutely. So you obviously mentioned about your sort of aim to hit Chelsea Flower Show by the time you're 50. What are your goals when it comes to the flower business? What's the dream?
I think being at Chelsea is a very, very big goal, and I'd love to do it, but I understand I might not. But that is my biggest goal. But I think what I really want is to educate people about the seasonality of flowers. I'm not one of these people who feels that you can't buy Kenyan roses or flowers from abroad. I understand that British flowers are only available for a very short window of the year, and you can't. If you've got a winter wedding, if you want flowers at it, you're not going to have British flowers. So that there is a balance to be had. But what I want is people to understand that at this time of year, you've got other options of flowers, and just, to look and understand the seasonality. If I can get people to think about the seasonality of flowers and realise that there is a British option, which is more sustainable, and I help them just learn about, when things are available. That's really my biggest goal. Even as a farmer's wife, my knowledge of seasonality is rubbish. I think even with fruit and vegetables, I try really hard to make a conscious effort only to buy British produce in the supermarkets, but it's tricky, like, because you see the lovely French beans and it's like, kids, would you like cabbage or French beans? And it's, I'm learning a lot about seasonality for it as well.
Definitely, it is a tough call, and it is that balance, isn't it? Because you need to be very mindful of when you're going around, because the retailers have got it all there for you. It's easy, it's convenient, and it's just the way that we've almost been programmed now, isn't it? Whereas actually just to think about what is around you, what is growing out in the fields, what are local people doing, because it sustains a community, doesn't it? You're trying to run your business whilst supporting your family, as are lots of other people around the country. And with supporting local, shopping local, there is that sustainability angle as well, of low food miles, things haven't been shipped from halfway across the world, and the impact on the environment is obviously a lot less. And you're also working in conjunction with nature. I mean, presumably, you're sort of conscious about what you're putting on your flowers in terms of pesticides and pest control and things like that.
Yes, we're not organic. I do use pesticides, but my rule is I only use them if there's no other way I can solve that problem, or if I think nature's not going to solve the problem for me. So yes, if I see aphids on the roses, I don't immediately go, right, I need to get rid of them and spray them. I give it a little time, because before you know it, the ladybird larvae rock up and they sort the aphids out for you. And I'm very conscious that if I step in too early, I'm interfering with that natural food chain. So I try really to leave it to nature, unless I really have to use chemicals. With regards to sustainability on the plastic side, I try not to use plastics. So if I wrap any flowers, they're all done in paper. On the actual beds themselves, we have to obviously manage the weeds. Now, what a lot of farmers use is a weed membrane, which is a plastic weed membrane, which stops the weeds coming through. I'm trying really hard not to use that, because that's a big lump of plastic that you've got there in the field. So I'm laying cardboard on the beds and covering it with compost. So hopefully that's a more sustainable method to manage my weed control. I'm very conscious. I've got a very big polytunnel that's plastic, and that doesn't sit particularly comfortably with me, because there is so much plastic on it. The plastic probably needs to be changed every 10 years on the polytunnel. I'll keep it for as long as I possibly can, and then I will reuse it to make smaller tunnels on the field. So it's not just to throw it away. And I reuse all my flower pots. I gather flower pots from everyone, like in the village. All the ladies in the village, they cover me with flower pots. Oh, and cardboard. All the internet shopping. The amount of cardboard in this village is crazy. So I go around in my car and pick up everyone's cardboard boxes and flower pots and jam jars. I collect jam jars because I do a lot of little arrangements in jam jars, again, because it's sustainable. Flowers like to be in water. A lot of florists put them in a bubble of water, but that bubble is plastic. And as soon as the people receive the flowers, the plastic goes in the bin. So I would rather use glass jars, which, can be reused or recycled.
Yeah, definitely. No, it's wonderful. I can really see you being on Gardener's World sometime soon. I really think it would be a really interesting feature to. So perhaps when this goes out, we'll have to give Monty Don a tag, so that he's aware of what you're doing, or at least the BBC, because I think it's brilliant, because you're really, in how you're describing everything as well. It's really informative, and you're painting a picture which is wonderful, and I think I really think you're onto something wonderful here. And I mean, how do you manage it with being a parent and a businesswoman? Because obviously it's got to be a juggle.
It is a real juggle. And because I've got 4 young children, they all need me. You know, they need me to do a lot of things for them. So I'm in constant demand. I think what I've learned is not to have any expectations and just say, I will get it done. If I don't get it done today, it doesn't really matter. I will get it done. And the children aren't going to be at home for that long because they grow up so quickly. So just take each day at a time. And if I've got stuff I need to do in the flower field, I do get up quite early in the morning, or I work once the children have gone to bed. But I try and get the children involved, but there's times where they don't want to be involved. And it's very tempting to be cross with them because I want to get on with what I want to do. But I've taught myself over the last few years to go, it doesn't matter. I will get it done at some stage. And yeah, have no expectations of what you're going to achieve in a day. And anything you do achieve is a bonus.
Yeah, that's such a brilliant mindset. I wish I could adopt that, or I should adopt that, because I get frustrated as well, because I try and get the children involved so that I can actually achieve what I want to achieve. But often they're tired, or they're just not interested, and it's more now about what they would like to do, and then I fit my life around them. And then when they are older and they're off doing what they want to do, my time will come back. And I'm sure a lot of parents listening can probably relate to that.
Well, yeah, I think this time, I think we're both in the thick of it. We've got children at similar ages. We're both in the real thick of it at the moment, and it won't be long until they're off out. Well, they'll have better social lives than we do. So I'll be talking to my flowers.
But I do think our generation as well we've got a lot more pressure on our shoulders. I think our parents, there wasn't so much of an expectation, especially as a woman, to kind of you stayed at home and raised the children, whereas now you are generally working full time, or you've got a business to run, as well as raising a family and everything else that surrounds being a farmer's wife, all of the kind of life admin and general admin that goes with it. There's a lot.
I think there is a massive pressure, and it just, you see, I don't think mummies can get it right. If you work full time, you're criticised because apparently you're not looking after your children. If you don't work, you're viewed as a lady of leisure and lazy. And there's just, if you try and do both, people are like, she's trying to do too much. And there is, you just have to do what's right for you. And everyone's different. Everyone's children are different. And don't worry about what other people think. Just as long as your children are happy and healthy.
Definitely. And where can people buy your flowers, or where are you supplying, or what's?
So I supply local florists, and also event florists. So if brides want British flowers for their weddings, their florist can contact me directly, and we supply event florists. Or some brides like to do their wedding flowers themselves, so we can supply like mixed buckets of flowers. So whatever's in season, you can't be picky. You can't say, right, I want this, and this, because it depends on the weather, and there's a lot out of my control. But if you give me a colour palette, I can provide a bucket to that palette. But I also supply Bolton Flower Shop in the near village, and so she makes up lots of beautiful bouquets with British flowers, and she's a great advocate of the sustainability of British flowers, and how unique and lovely it is for her clients to be able to walk in the shop and buy flowers grown just up the road. And I was so amazed last year at how much her clients were just desperate to get their hands on Brown's flowers. And
you've got me there. It's just wonderful, because it's just a real great success story, the fact that people are now coming in and asking for them, and can say they were grown locally, so there is that story to tell as well, and it's brilliant that you're using you know, obviously the colour palettes, because I know some brides can be quite particular in what they would like. I think we've all been there at some point, you know, having that control or what have you. But yeah, no, it's fantastic. And let's talk now. Talk to me about some of the things that you enjoy cooking. Can you share a couple of your go-to recipes?
I can. Of course I can. I mean, it's a constant carousel of food in our house. I just feel like all I do is feed children. I'm the catering department. I was thinking about what recipes would I tell Milly about, and I think my most go-to recipe, and this is for children, it's for a quick supper, and it is also for a harvest supper. So a harvest supper is where I cook at home and I cook a hot meal, and then I load everything into the boot of my car, all the children in the boot of the car, all the condiments, plates, juices, everything, and we drive to the field where the combine is, and we unload it, and we feed all the chaps and occasionally the girls who come work for us at harvest time. And that recipe is sausage plat, and it's just, I've got a bit of a reputation for it actually in this area, and people actually ask for it, and it is so easy. So all I do is I go to the butcher's and I get a pound of sausage meat, get an onion, 1 onion and 1 pack of puff pastry, ready rolled puff pastry, and I just chop up the onion, dice it, and then mix it raw into the sausage meat. Lay that in the centre line down the long ways down the puff pastry, and then I cut the pastry at angles down the side to then plat it over the top. And every year, as soon as harvest starts, the boys on the farm, not my children, are going, are we going to have sausage plat tonight? Are we going to have sausage plat? What an easy meal. And it's, you know, you're supporting your local butcher, and you've got British pork meat in there, and it's just the easiest thing for my family.
Sounds amazing. I'm definitely gonna have a go at that, because I remember at Christmas doing something similar with mincemeat, to do like a little Christmas tree sort of thing
wow.
with ready rolled puff pastry. I mean, that's just the best invention ever, because the time saving hacks, it's just brilliant.
And you just keep it in the freezer. I just have a whole stash of it in the freezer, and it defrosts really quickly. So if at lunchtime I go, oh, what am I going to cook? It will be sausage plat if I haven't organised something. I mean, you can even take sausages and quickly whip the skin off the sausages and use that meat instead of using a pack of sausage meat. It's a great, but just keep it simple. I've learned, just keep it simple.
Yeah, definitely. No, I'm all for that. Just a few ingredients, banging in the oven, and it just feeding a hungry tribe is what it's all about, isn't it? Definitely. And so, how can people follow you, Josie? How can they find more about Brown's British Flowers?
So we're on Instagram and Facebook at Brown's British Flowers. Brown's as in the colour, and British Flowers. And I do regular updates on there, and I do tutorials about how to grow various things. And if anyone has any questions, like your delphiniums, I'm always happy to help. I don't know everything, there's too much to know, but I can generally help solve the simple issues people have with flower growing.
Excellent. Brilliant. And have you got a website?
Yes, we have brownsbritishflowers.co.uk.
Brilliant. So people can get in touch with you and find out a little bit more, and maybe if they even want you to supply them some flowers as well. That would be good, wouldn't it? Absolutely.
Be really good.
Yeah.
There are lots of British flower farmers in the country, and there's a great website called Flowers from the Farm, and if you go on there you will find your local flower farmer, just like me. I'm on there, and you know, we all do different things. Lots of people do pick your own flowers, which would be great with the children. Pick your own flowers, or they do workshop days, or you can order subscription flowers. So if you're not near me in Cambridgeshire and you're somewhere else in the country, then look at Flowers from the Farm to find a flower farmer.
That's a really good tip, because it's wonderful to know that there are a network of people around the country doing very similar things, and even like petals as well. People are doing petals for weddings, aren't they? And it's a big business. Definitely.
It is, yeah. There's lots of confetti for weddings, dried flowers, and the British dried flowers last year became super trendy. To be honest, just following all these people on Instagram, it's just beautiful. And it's a great industry to work in, because whenever you give people flowers, you make them happy.
Yeah.
They could be going through the toughest time, and you give them flowers, and you just see them just light up, and you think, wow, yeah, I've made a difference to someone's day.
Yeah, no, that's it. Absolutely. Here are some time-saving hacks for you to try at home. I love cooking one-pot wonders. Being able to throw in a few simple ingredients, leave it for a while, and then serve, meaning you have time to juggle family life and cook a hearty meal. One of my go-to recipes is leek, bacon, and pea risotto. What you'll need to do is tip some oil in an oven-proof casserole dish, add bacon and fry for 2 minutes, add some leeks and cook until soft but not coloured for about 4 or 5 minutes, tip in the rice and cook for a minute, pour over the stock and bung in the oven for probably about half an hour, 40 minutes, give or take. And then when the rice is tender and the liquid is absorbed, remove from the oven, stir in some peas, place back in the oven for a couple of minutes, and then remove, stir in some cheese and maybe even some lemon zest and season. And that for me is one of those feeding a tribe as well. And I'm not very good at portioning. I always make far too much, but it's better to have too much than not enough, that's for sure.
I definitely eat that cold, I think, straight out the fridge. It sounds delicious.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And in season right now, later this month, you'll start to see elderflower appear in the hedgerows. The white floral brooms with their yellow stamens smell absolutely divine, and mixed together with some water, sugar and lemons can make the most wonderful, refreshing drink. You may recall on a previous podcast I interviewed Kirsty from Manor Farm Drinks, who has built up her business from making elderflower cordial to supply independent farm shops, retailers and at food festivals. Check out my food blog, No Fuss Meals for Busy Parents, for the recipe that I always follow, or enjoy a drop of Kirsty's elderflower cordial. There are other products, elderflower cordial, on the market if you're not local to Northamptonshire, because that's where Kirsty is producing her elderflower cordial. But check it out, because it is amazing, and I will share my recipe, because I don't know about you, Josie, if you make elderflower cordial, but it is one of those lovely sort of late spring tipples, and you can make champagne too.
Oh yeah, it's perfect. I love elderflower cordial, absolutely, and with a bit of fizzy water. I just love it with fizzy water and ice, and yeah, perfect late spring summer drink.
Absolutely, definitely. Okay, that's all we got time for today. Don't forget to tune into the next episode of the Countryside Kitchen Meets on the 1st of each month. You can subscribe on all major podcast streaming platforms, and get in touch. Who would you like to be on a future episode? Who would you like to hear from? Want to chat to me about what you enjoy cooking? Share some recipes with me too. Drop me a line at hello@millyfyfe.com. You can also follow my food blog, No Fuss Meals for Busy Parents, on Facebook, Instagram, and at www.nofussmealsforbusyparents.com. Thank you so much, Josie, for joining me today. It's been incredible chatting to you, and keep up the amazing work. It's so fascinating what you're doing. Thank you.
Oh, thank you, Milly. It's been really great. And yeah, I love you on social media, and you inspire me to keep thinking about new meals for children and getting them to grow vegetables. So yeah, well done.
Thank you. Okay, everyone. Thanks then. Bye.